So guys, my name is Matt Silver, Dr. Matt Silver. I'm a physical therapist. Anybody who missed that earlier. I live in Frederick, Maryland. I think before we get into a lot of like the breathing stuff, I think it's probably prudent for you guys to know a little bit of my background, why I became a PT. I like the word physiotherapist. They use that term everywhere else besides the US. The reason why I like that term is in physical therapy school, it's a doctorate level program, but we learn how to work in an acute care setting, which is in a hospital. We learn how to work in a nursing home. I was joking earlier, but I forgot who it was, with the pulse ox. Who had the pulse ox? Oh, in the back. Like, I would get people up in the hospital. The pulse ox says 90, we walk them 10 feet, it drops to 50. I'm like, we're going back on the bed. So a lot of different settings, but in my opinion, a physiotherapist is someone who really specializes in treating active people. I treat a lot of CrossFit athletes, people who are getting into deep squats like this, with a barbell overhead, they're snatching and then they're standing up, which is a heck of a lot of mobility. But my passion definitely is distance running, treating distance runners. Grew up in upstate New York, which is kind of the middle of nowhere, but it's near Syracuse. Someone here said they're from that area. I think she may have left. But grew up distance running, high school, college, got a little bit injured in high school, got to college, kind of crashed and burned. I think I was hitting like 60 mile weeks. All I did was run. Didn't have the best coaching, didn't do any strength training, no mobility work, and just had horrible knee pain. My neck was always in pain, and my low back was really, really killing me. I ran 2 years, quit, went through physio school, and then 1 year out of PT school. Not even that, it was like 3 months. I still couldn't run more than like 2 miles because of excruciating knee pain. And I'm like, man, I really want to treat runners. I need to fix myself. So I took those necessary steps to learn about running form, mobility, strength training for runners, all these things that can make you guys successful as runners. Because I've lived it, I've learned it, and I take it really seriously when someone's like, hey, I have knee pain and I can't run, because I know exactly what that feels like, and it sucks, frankly. Show of hands, who here has had an injury that stopped them from running? So probably most of you. I think it's like, what is it? 50, I think it's like 50% of runners in a given year have some level of injury, which is just, in my opinion, way too much. I think we need to do a better job in the healthcare community of doing that. And I have my own practice where I see a lot of distance. Again, I treat distance runners. Probably half my caseload is. I see one of our locations is in a CrossFit gym, so I end up seeing that as well. But I still think runners are notoriously underserved in the healthcare community. So I wrote the book. A lot of stuff we're going to talk about today. There's a whole breathing section in there. We're going to cover a lot of topics in there, maybe add some new things. But I think we're breathing today, some arch activation, some foot stuff, running form. Like there's counter rotation. But there's other topics in there that if you guys have questions about, feel free to ask me. Don't ask me now, but ask me at the end after this presentation, or on a run, whatever you guys want to do. Does anybody have any burning questions about breathing right now? Just like, hey, I've heard this on YouTube or heard this from somebody. Okay, cool. Yep.
Well,
go ahead.
I can remember hearing at one point people saying, well, if you breathe through your nose, you're faster. Like you'll run a lot faster if you breathe through your nose. I don't know, I tried to do it for me, but maybe I'll stick with it.
Do you nose breathe? Do you nasal breathe?
I tried. Yeah, I got into it for a while because I read the book. I think the book might be called Breathe.
Yeah, Breath or Breathe or Breath.
Yeah,
by James Nestor. Yeah, it's a good book.
So I did that for a while and I liked it.
And he shoved up the things in his nose, and he couldn't breathe for like a month.
Yeah.
It's a rough life, man. Mouth breathing. We'll talk about that.
Okay.
Somebody say something. Sorry.
I just said mouth breathers. Isn't that the classic insult of the 70s?
It's in the book.
Mouth breather.
Yeah.
It's, Stranger Things.
Stranger Things.
Oh.
Yeah, mouth breather.
Yeah, I think it's actually an insult in some cultures if you mouth breathe. We're going to cover some nasal breathing stuff and why it's important. Yeah, what's up in the back?
Yeah, you're mentioning some of the breathing stuff that people have heard and some of you are asking. Yeah, I'd heard you just push everything out. You double breath on the way out.
Yeah, we'll talk about the double breath at the end. It's actually a double inhale. I guess you could do a double exhale. It's much easier to do a double inhale.
Oh.
Yeah, but we'll talk about it. What's up, Chad?
Taking your mouth shut at night.
Oh, to like force you to nose breathe? Does that help with snoring, right? Is that supposedly?
I mean, there's something behind us that it's like you can buy the tape that you tape your
Yeah,
mouth
it forces you to nose breathe. I will say this, your mouth is made for eating, designed, right? You have teeth, it's made for eating. Your nose is made for taking oxygen in, well, taking more than oxygen, but taking air in, inhaling, and exhaling. Like you have two specific organs for two specific purposes. For some reason, if this is clogged, great thing is you're not going to suffocate. You have a mouth that can kick in, but our nose is made for breathing, our mouth is made for eating, and that is a fact. That's the way it is. Some people have deviated septums. I'm pretty sure I have one, but I still make do. And like when I run, like today I did breathe through my mouth, but if I have the nose tape, the nasal strips, I can breathe in and out through my nose. When I'm running, I'm on the Echo bike, I'm rowing, I can do it, and there's a lot of benefits to that we're gonna jump into. All right, really quick, I want to cover like what happens when you breathe. Number one, when you inhale, oxygen, most of the oxygen, other things as well, but oxygen goes into your nasal cavities, goes into your trachea, into your lungs, and then it goes into little air sacs. They inflate with air, with some other molecules too, but inflate with oxygen. That hangs out there. Blood comes through it. There's capillaries. This is the lung sac, alveoli, capillaries coming right through it. There's an exchange of gas. There's an area of high concentration, a lot of oxygen here, not a lot of oxygen here because it's carbon dioxide is going the other way. So oxygen flows into it. It binds to hemoglobin. It's on the red blood cells. And then the red blood cells go around, they find your muscles, and then they diffuse from your red blood cells onto your muscles because there's another area, high concentration on the blood cells, low concentration in your muscles because you're working hard, you're running, they want to go on your muscles. And then your muscles use that for energy, and then they give off carbon dioxide because you aerobically used it, which is a lot of energy. And then it goes back to your heart, back to your lungs, and then carbon dioxide diffuses the other way, and then you breathe out, so you exhale the carbon dioxide, the CO2. So that's quick and ambulance. I wish I had a PowerPoint I could do, but big thing with, yeah, what's up?
Pretty sure I caught the whole thing, but if you could
Yes.
just tell me it again because I didn't understand it.
So,
I'm just kidding.
so I could do it again. We're gonna make sure I can do this. We're gonna talk about nasal breathing and mobility. I think we talked right about nasal breathing first because you guys already mentioned it. Oh yeah, we could do that. So it sounds simple. With nasal breathing, some benefits of that is number one, when you breathe through your nose, you release nitric or nitric oxide. It's a vasodilator. So not only it expands your lungs, keeps your lungs dilated and open, but also keeps the alveoli, the lungs, but it keeps the capillaries where that diffusion occurs. It keeps those vessels open. When you mouth breathe, that doesn't happen. So big thing with nose breathing is it keeps things dilated, keeps things open. Make sure I don't miss any of these. Yeah, keeps things open. It helps use your, do you guys know what the diaphragm is? Breathing muscle. When you nasal breathe, it helps use your diaphragm more. So when I mouth breathe, I get a lot more of these accessory muscles where my upper traps are really, really going up. If I nose breathe, it's a lot easier to get this expansion of my lower ribs, and it helps to inflate the lower parts of your lungs. When I do a lot of this, or even you can do it through your nose, it's easier to diaphragmatic breathe through your nose. Easier to use your diaphragm through your nose and your mouth, but if you do this, it's really only inflating the top parts of your lungs. So it's a heck of a lot harder to keep oxygen flowing through your body when you're mouth breathing versus when you're nose breathing. I think I'm missing one more. What's the other one? There's one last one. Oh, it filters air when you breathe. Out there, a lot of dust. We're kicking dust up. You know, if I'm running in front of Jay and I'm kicking behind him, the dust is going in his face. If he's mouth breathing, that goes right into your lungs. There is mucous membranes in your trachea, but sometimes that gets in your lungs and it can cause issues. When you're breathing through your nose, you have hair, you have a mucous membrane here that helps trap it so it doesn't get into there, and just you get nice filtered air, like you have a car filter, you have filters in your AC system, like there's probably filters in the AC system in this building. This keeps the air that's going to your lungs, it keeps it nice and fresh and clean. All right, really quick, any questions on the benefit of nasal breathing?
So I have a comment, maybe a question. So when you're saying nasal breathing, running, I mean, maybe like at a slower pace, but there's obviously, in my mind, there's a pace where that's going to be impossible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it can get tough. So what I did this in high school. I did this weird thing, Jay, where I was like, I breathed in through my nose and my mouth at the same time. and I kind of did like a pursed lips. So I did everything I could to get the air in. I'm a big fan of doing it at easy paces, like easy runs. Nasal breathing should be realistic for most runners. When you're going, you're going hard, especially the last part of your the marathon, whatever it is, it's just you're doing whatever you can do to get through. But if we can use the nose as long as we can, there's a lot of benefits. I wouldn't say those are the small benefits. A massive one I didn't talk about yet is it helps modulate the level of CO2 and oxygen in your body. So you guys know what gives you the urge to breathe? To build up, exactly. So when I think a lot of people overbreathe. They're just taking oxygen in and breathing carbon dioxide out way too fast. When you nasal breathe, the flow, you're getting, I believe I'm saying this right, you're getting a little bit less, less oxygen is getting in and more carbon dioxide is building up. Now, the more carbon dioxide builds up, and that carbon dioxide in your body helps diffuse oxygen from the red blood cells onto your muscle. So a higher level of CO2 is actually a good thing because it helps the oxygen get off of your red blood cells. It helps it get onto your muscles. So having a higher level of CO2 tolerance, which we're going to go over some exercises later, how to do that, it helps get more energy to your muscles to use. So nasal breathing, you'll expel more carbon dioxide when you mouth breathe, but when you nasal breathe, you keep a little bit more of that in, and that helps oxygen get to your muscles and come off of red blood cells. And we're going to do some exercises of how to train that. All right, any questions on that part? Because I know that was sometimes people get confused on that.
Just a comment.
Yeah.
I usually do my easy runs nasal breathing, but today it was not possible. I noticed wheezing, a little bit of wheezing.
Like wheezing when you're running?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if that was due to altitude stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if it was the dust or the altitude.
Yeah. Yeah, probably from the dust. No, that's a good point. Anybody else have that today? Wheezing or weird sensation when running with breathing? Okay.
I do notice for me when I'm trying to nose breathe, my heart rate goes up just because I'm not getting as much oxygen in. So even if I'm running it say like a 155 heart rate, and I'm breathing through my nose and it's fine, it feels okay.
Yeah.
I'll realize, holy cow, I didn't mean to be going this hard of a heart rate.
Oh, it jacks your heart rate up.
More through my mouth, and my heart rate will drop. I'll find it'll drop, and so it's like I try, like you're saying, to do both through my mouth and through my nose. But it's like I've never tried those strips. Maybe I need to open
Yeah.
it up.
If you try the nasal strips, that would probably help. Even I think we were talking about this when we had our phone call, Jay, of adding it on to easy runs, and it's going to be harder, but it's not really training. I guess it could train in metabolics. It's not like you're doing a tempo threshold workout. You're just limiting. You're increasing the buildup of CO2. So it's a different kind of exposure of discomfort you can do on an easy run. That's like a low hanging fruit.
I messed with that a little bit after we chatted, and man, it's difficult.
That's tough, especially when you do the CO2, the actual like the breath holds and stuff.
It's fun.
It's rough.
It's fun to play with that stuff though because I don't know. It's just interesting to like mess around with your intensity levels at different points of training.
Yeah.
And see how you respond to it.
Yeah. All right. I want to make sure I covered everything. No, that is good. Okay. We could flow actually right into the CO2 tolerance work. Do you guys know who Emil Zetopik is? Have you ever heard of that guy? Know who he is?
He was, what, 50s Finnish guy?
He was Czech.
In Czech.
Yeah, it was Czech. So he did these breath hold workouts that we're gonna go over a few, and he ended up. So he would like tree way over there. I'm gonna hold my breath. I'm gonna run to it and try not to breathe and try to make it there. And just sometimes he passed out, so he kind of pushed it a little bit too far. But he would do these insane breath holdy kind of style workouts. And when he would run, he would just look miserable. Like he just looked like he was in agony and pain the whole time he would run. But he did something I don't think anybody else. Well, no one. There's no way anyone's ever going to do this again. He won Olympics. He won the 5, and he came in second. He got silver in the 10K. So I think that was 52. And then in 1956, he won the 5K and the 10K, so he got gold. And he decides, you know what, I'm just going to go run the marathon. Never ran that distance before. He's running against the current world record holder. And he ends up, this dude ends up, I think he races with this guy maybe like halfway. The world record holder he DNF'd. And Emil Zatopek wins the marathon. He's never ran that before. Like, I think he ran 220 something, like a pretty respectable marathon for like 1952. But yeah, it had to have been like 220, 222, 224. What's that?
That's a nice word.
Yeah, like, but the point of that is he did.
Respectable time for 2024, not just 1950.
Yes, and let alone he's never ran that distance before. I think he's never raced that distance before, but let alone beats the world record holder after winning the 5 and the 10K. So he probably the only person to ever win the triple, which I guess you could go 10, 5, and 15, but that's also probably really tough too. But it's just, we're so specialized now, I don't think that's ever gonna happen again. But he did these breath hold workouts, there's Buteyko breaths, there's a few others I wanna do, but he did these things that I think are low-hanging fruits that swimmers do. Who ever swam like in high school? Like breath holds, right? I'm gonna do every 2 strokes and every 4 strokes. I hated swimming because always during the winter, and the winters in New York were freezing, and I'd be all wet and walk outside and I'm freezing cold. But I remember doing that, and I'm like, these suck, but swimmers do it. Why can't runners take advantage of these breath hold workouts and become more efficient runners and be more tolerant of their CO2? The reason a couple things of how these work. Number one is when you do these breath hold workouts, you are training your body to be more tolerant of a buildup of CO2. We can debate if it's actually giving you benefits like altitude training is, which it might. I don't know if it's exactly as efficient, but one thing I know for sure it does is you have chemoreceptors on your heart, and you have a chemoreceptor, I believe, on your medulla, which is like your brainstem, the lower part of your brain. Blood circulates through that, and then it senses the pH, the acidity of your blood. When it gets to a certain point, because I believe CO2 is acidic, it says, "Oop, breathe." We gotta balance out the pH of your blood. Most people's chemoreceptors are way too sensitive. It's a nervous impulse. We can calm that nervous impulse down by getting your body exposed to higher levels of CO2. So it's not like it's more you have the perceived sensation of you need to breathe versus it's not actually life or death. Your body is just really, really sensitive. We need to decrease that sensitivity. Any questions on that?
So I got a comment on the altitude thing. So
Yeah.
my understanding is acute, like short-term hypoxia is not enough to stimulate EPO, which in turn makes you produce
More red blood cells, right?
More immature red blood cells.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think potentially you could make your EPO go up through breath holds, but you would have to do it like
Yeah, it'd be like all day.
hours and
Yeah.
hours long.
That's why I don't.
Whole other issue.
I think in breath the book that talks a lot about this stuff too. I think he mentioned it, but I'm like I don't think that's. I'm.
It would have to be a lot.
It'd be a lot. I don't know if I believe that, but I know 100. I know for a fact it helps improve your tolerance to CO2. That again, if we can get higher levels of CO2, you might not even feel the difference once you work on this, and you're going to be using oxygen more efficiently. So that's the cool part about it. In the beginning, you're like, this really sucks, and I hate it. But eventually, you're going to become more tolerant of it. You'll have higher levels of CO2 that used to make you want to breathe. And guess what? Now you have those higher levels, and oxygen is falling off of red blood cells, and it's getting to muscles easier, and not just sticking on them. Somebody hand me a book. Because I know these, I just want to make sure I get their names right. I want to go few. No, we'll do these. We'll go over the diaphragmatic stuff later. All right, yeah, we'll do these right now. We're doing great. Who's got the time? What time is it? My clock's off. 7:35. 7:35? Oh, cool. Oh, we're doing good. All right, everybody stand up. We're gonna do these standing. We're not gonna be moving. We're gonna be breathing. Dun, dun, dun. Nope, too far.
Guys, if I could just get like a line of sight here, that'd be awesome.
Nope, here we go. We'll skip that one. No, I almost forgot about that. So one thing that breathing through your nose tends to help with is it helps balance the inhale versus the exhale. It helps you find a nice rhythm which is 5.5 second inhale, 5.5 second exhale. Well, at least that rest, that's what it is. All right, we're gonna do, oh, this is a fun one. All right, it's called breathing coordination. So we take a big, put this on the ground, take a big inhale in, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You're trying to get all of the CO2, just breathe everything out. So it's gonna be fun. Everybody take a deep breath in, and then just do that all the way down until you have nothing left. So think like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just say that all the way until you can't say it anymore. I'll do it with you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Keep going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. When you get to the end, you want to like whisper it as deep as you can until you're like, this sucks. And then come on back up. Maybe one more time. Deep inhale in. And then go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Keep going. I like fighting it. All right. Do you guys like that?
Are you trying to proactively breathe out your nose as you say it, or are you really?
Oh, I'm just saying it. Yeah, don't worry about that right now. I'm just saying it. So the goal of this is a lot of people don't know how to, a lot of times we don't focus on fully exhaling. This is teaching you guys to fully exhale. Because if you fully exhale, you get an even deeper inhale. All right, that was breathing coordination. It might be, no, it's fine. I think you're actually supposed to count down 10, 9, 8, but it's fine. We're gonna do a more fun one. We're gonna do, I kind of want to do breath anchoring instead. Yeah, I'd rather do this. No, I guess we could do this one. All right, so what we're gonna do, it's gonna be a 4-second inhale followed by an 8-second exhale. So we're trying to shorten the inhale and we're trying to elongate the exhale. So it looks just like this. Someone count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So on 3, do you want to count for me?
Sure.
All right, ready? Just give me a 3 countdown.
All right, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
And again.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
One more time.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay, the goal of that is smaller inhale, elongate the exhale. When I am exhaling, I want you guys to think that there's an anchor in your chest and it's just sinking deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. It's gonna get uncomfortable, but try to push through that. If you get to 8, like I got to like 7, I think I got to 6, and I was like, I got nothing left. I'm just trying to exhale as much as I possibly can. Try to breathe through your nose. If you're like, hey, I just can't, it's fine to breathe through your mouth, but if you can, try to breathe through your nose with this. So I'll do it for you guys. We'll do 5. You guys all got it? So to be a 4-second, I'll count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then immediately when I hit 4, start to exhale, and I'll count down to 8, and then we'll go right back up. You guys all good? Everybody got it? All right, we're gonna go on 3. 1, 2, 3, and inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then fully exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, keep going. 6, 7, 8, back to the inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, and back to the exhale. Try to exhale a little bit quicker. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Back to the inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. A little bit quicker this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And last one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Really feel the anchor sink. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. Deeper in the chest. 7 and 8. How was it? Who had, what's up?
I have a question. So
Yeah.
do you want like a consistent flow of in and out, like in terms of like the pace of it, or do you just want to be like in as much as you can and out as much as you can?
In the beginning, consistent. I told you guys kind of go a little faster. I like really going slow. As I progress this, I go really slow on the inhale, and I just go slightly faster on the exhale. But in the beginning, it should be kind of a steady 4, a steady 8. I just pushed you guys a little bit because I wanted you guys to feel it. Who here felt like the uncomfortable, like the sinking of the anchor? So these are things, show of hands who felt it. If you didn't feel it, that's okay. If you didn't feel it, what you can do is just go a little bit shallower, like and then a little more aggressive. So you can play around a little bit with that. What's up?
So just with everything I got going on there, I was getting lightheaded, so that's why I had to sit down.
Yeah,
and
that
I
happens.
could easily get like that full breath and breathe through it, but like when
Yeah.
I was standing up, I was like, ooh, this is too much.
Yeah, no, that's what Emil Zetopek would pass out doing these runs. He would go run a tree and he would just pass out. So if that happens, like don't do these driving, please. Caveat: don't operate large motor vehicles. I started out. I was just sitting on the couch watching TV. I was just working on my computer. I would just do these. Then I did them standing, and then I did them walking. You'd be surprised how challenging it can be just from walking, let alone trying to do this when you're running. So you can do this when running. I've done it. It is really freaking rough. It's very uncomfortable, but I haven't done it on workouts yet. I've done it on easy runs, and it's relatively it's pretty darn uncomfortable. You don't want to Emil did it, but you don't want to push to the point where you're going to pass out. But if you get lightheaded, like he was, yeah, just take a break. I don't want you guys to pass out. But these are some things. Do we have one more we can do? We'll go over to decongestion nose in a second. But these are some things that you guys can work on to start to improve your CO2 tolerance. Even without running, you can just do this. The countdown, where it's like that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and just getting used to fully exhaling. That is step 1. Most people never fully exhale their lungs. It's the first step of just getting used to having your lungs shrunk and then getting that perfusion of air back into them. And then the buteyko, then adding on the buteyko breaths is, they're aggressive, but doing them just standing without even running or walking is a fantastic first step. Okay, that's on some CO2 tolerance work. Do you have any questions on that? Yeah.
In layman's terms here, CO2 tolerance is basically ultimately getting more oxygen to your muscles quicker.
Yep, pretty much. You just have to be more teaching your body to be more comfortable with levels of CO2, which in turn, those higher levels help oxygen diffuse off of red blood cells right to your muscles. That's pretty much it. Which I believe that's how Emil Zetopek was able to run those amazing, first of all, win 2 gold medals and then do an almost unthinkable thing of winning the marathon that no other runner was doing. I think it was also a big inspiration for interval training because he would do those. I'm gonna go run to this tree that's 400 yards away. But yeah, a lot of props to him. He was doing something right. I think we can learn from that as runners ourselves. All right, any other questions or what other questions you guys have? Because I'm gonna move on from CO2. Yeah.
Is this all through the nose, like inhaling, exhaling?
If you can. If you can't, if you're my nose is like my left nostril is just it's always more clogged than my right. Unless I put nasal strips on, it's a lot easier. But you can do it through your mouth if you want. It's ideally through the nose, but if you're hey, I just want to do it through my mouth, yeah, you can do it. You'll still get the same CO2 benefit. So yeah, that's a good question too.
On nasal breathing, I just created this theory in my head. I have no idea if it helps, but I got my nose waxed once for free at an open house apartment thing,
Yeah.
and it was a memorable moment. So before CIM this year, I did it again just because I wanted to feel like I could breathe
Yeah.
more. Was it helpful? I have no idea. Was it fun?
So it just took the hairs out of your nose?
Yep.
Oh.
Your thoughts? From a
I don't know, because the hairs actually, they help filter things. So,
performance day of race.
I mean, maybe. It's like swimmers that, I guess they shave their legs when they swim.
Shaving those hairs.
It could. It might give you a 0.5%, I don't know, advantage, but if you want to, yeah, go for it. You can, something I didn't include in the book, you can actually, you have a muscle here called your nasalis. My wife can do it. Can anybody here flare their nostrils? I can't for some reason. I can kind of do it, but I use all these excessive, yeah. if you flare your nostrils, like that actually opens your nose up as well. So sometimes y'all watch like someone finishing a 1500 and they're just like, they're really like, they're making that like flare nostril face because they're doing that to help get oxygen and carbon dioxide out. However, you know, whatever their breathing pattern is. All right, anything else? Those are all good questions. No bad questions, guys.
So is it good to practice like holding your breath, by like letting out as much CO2 or oxygen as you can, and then just...
Yep. Yeah, sometimes I'll just be like laying in bed. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do something, and I'll just like, I'll just do that. It's a lot easier too when you're like just laying down, not doing anything. But it's a heck of a lot. Even walking, it's a heck of a lot more of a challenge.
Yeah. So is there a benefit of doing that versus like the typical like...
Oh, that's actually a good point. That doesn't work as well. So when you do this, that's it. I forgot to mention that. When you do this, because they've done studies, I think it was in the 80s, 70s or 80s, they did studies where they looked at like, when you do breath holds, does it improve your CO2 tolerance? Does it improve, they just looked at a bunch of biological markers. I forgot exactly what it was. It was, like they looked at, was it improving, it might have been VO2 max. Was it improving VO2 max? Was it improving, I forgot what it was. But it showed it, like it didn't do any, it wasn't improving anything because when you do this, your lungs are filled with oxygen. As I'm standing here, there's more blood cells, the blood is continually going through them and it's my body is continually getting oxygen. Versus if I'm here, very little to no oxygen. I mean, there's gonna be some oxygen in there, but there's much less. This is how you can build the CO2 tolerance because your body's not getting the extra oxygen, it's depleted. So your body's like, that CO2 tolerance has to build up. Versus if I'm here, it has, okay, the blood's still going through, it can still pick up more oxygen, and it's not the same exact thing. And it also feels, I can hold this a heck of a lot longer than I can on that full exhale. That's a fantastic question though. If you guys have any questions, like everybody understand that? That's a really good point. Like when you do this, I'm doing the CO2 tolerance because your body's still gonna get oxygen from all that breath that's stored inside of your lungs.
It'd be pretty cool to be one of them deep sea divers that can do like 6-minute breath holds, like underwater.
They definitely practice this, and then they actually hold on the full air, and they're just really good at it. I'd be afraid to pass out down there. That's super impressive. But I'm sure they do some level of. I'm wondering what their training is going to be like.
I'd be interested.
Yeah, it's got to be something like this. Anybody else have any questions on these breath holds, CO2 tolerance? How I would start: just do it seated, do it standing. If you feel like you're going to pass out, sit down. No big deal. Don't do it driving motor vehicles and everything. But I would do it standing. Do it on walks, and then you can try and do it on actually do it on easy runs. Hard runs, a heck of a lot more challenging, but easy runs, you can pull it off. And whether you use your nose or your mouth, this is something that everybody can do. Also with nasal breathing, give it a shot. I had the ugly looking, like, you don't have to get the expensive ones that had the magnets on them. You can just get like the Breathe Right strips. My wife has them at home. They look ugly, but I put them on and I'm like, man, it's just so much easier to breathe through my nose. And I'm pretty sure I have a deviated septum, and it just seems to help things. All right, we're gonna move on.
Hey, can I make one comment? And
Yeah.
I want you to clarify just because I want to make sure that people aren't trying to nose breathe when they're racing or trying to do a hard workout.
Yeah.
So the thought process here is doing this during easy days or days that we're not already running fast, and conventional wisdom would be, hey, I'm going to use the biggest orifices that I have to get as much oxygen as I can.
Yep.
And get as much out as I can when I'm performing at a high level. Because otherwise, to me, it just wouldn't make any sense to nose breathe in an interval session or a long run or anything you're competing at a high level. So I just wanted to clarify that. So
Yeah, I breathe through when I'm doing hard workouts, it's nose and mouth. I just learned how to do that. Yeah. That's just my strategy. You guys might have different strategies, but if on easy runs, and like right now when I walk throughout the day, there's also a parasympathetic response, where if I mouth breathe, I tend to be more stressed out versus when I nose breathe, I'm sleeping, I'm working. Since I've been implementing all the nasal breathing, I try never to breathe through my mouth unless I'm actually running, I'm on the echo bike, I'm on the rower, I'm doing things where I'm really exerting myself. I have much less stress. I am much more relaxed and much more clear-headed, and I just feel better when I nasal breathe. I don't know if you've noticed that as well, Jay.
100%.
Yeah. Even if at rest, I have a slightly deviated septum. I get plenty of oxygen, and it's super easy.
Well,
No, but it sounds like something I'm
And
behind.
It's almost like it's supposed to sound like the ocean in the back of your throat.
No,
But
it's interesting.
It's supposed to calm your nervous system, where mouth breathing, it's almost like you're hyperventilated, kind of.
Yeah, it's like I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'm on edge and I'm like, I'm doing things. Mouth breathing also dehydrates you too, because it's more like you're getting, there's like more just moisture in your mouth that your body has to replace. Yeah, it also helps with there's a microbiome in your nose that, like, if you breathe in like an airborne illness, #COVID, it actually stops it, and like it's a microbiome, so it has an antimicrobial effect, which is, I don't know if that's viruses and bacteria. I know it's for sure bacteria, but can help you stay healthy too and not get sick. Which I got a marathon coming up. Let's not get the cold or get something. All right, any other questions? Those are all good things. Yeah.
Chad, you brought up I see it as like advertising for the hostage tape. That's what came to mind.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, yeah.
And do you have experience with that? Do you?
I don't.
What are your thoughts? I look at that
yeah.
and I'm like.
Is this supposed to? I believe it's supposed to help you not snore.
I don't know.
Well, I think
Yeah.
it's the same premise of like just to make sure that when you're not conscious of nose breathing that you're doing.
Yeah, it helps. It's. I think the whole theory is like we want you to nose breathe when you're sleeping, so let's like just block your mouth completely, so you don't accidentally go back to it when you're sleeping.
Yeah, and Ryan said that like even that he notices that if he starts out that way, that his nose will be clear, but if you start breathing through your mouth, sometimes your nose will get clogged.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
if you switch over to mouth breathing, it's really hard to switch back to nose breathing.
Yeah. Since I've switched, there was a learning curve, probably about like 2 months. It was a long time, but like this one's still blocked. It's still blocked. But like my right one is completely open. It definitely it was a lot harder to breathe through my nose when I first started. So just having that constant airflow in and out, it just helps maintain the nasal airway. So yeah, no, that's a good point.
Or you don't have to go full hostage tape, like just even one little strip.
Oh, that helps.
It's like a cue almost.
Oh, it holds your mouth shut. Oh, cool.
You could breathe if you really try.
Yeah.
But like you don't have to duct tape.
Yeah, you don't need a whole layer of masking tape on your mouth. I haven't tried. My wife's done it. She likes it, but well, she does tell me I snore sometimes, so maybe I should. Maybe I should use it. All right. Anything else? It's a good question. Because we're gonna go to. I kind of want to go to mobility because that's a little more interactive. If you guys just heard me talk for the past like hour. Oh, you know what? Before we do that, who talked about the double breath? Who was that? Oh yeah. So what was it again? You said the double exhale.
Yeah, you know something, I screwed it up because it was about 2 years ago that I heard on the podcast, I think it was Ryan. I think you were right with the double
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it was in Jack Daniels.
Could have been. I mean, Jack Daniel knows this stuff too. So I stumbled upon that by accident when I was in high school. Everyone thought, well, part of it was I breathed in through my nose and my mouth when I was like, I just had this was my breathing pattern when I was running. People are like, why do you breathe so loud? I'm like, that's just how I get oxygen in and then get CO2 out. But that double inhale, that part, yeah, we're talking about, yeah. So it's like instead of just that double inhale, the bigger inhale followed by a slightly shorter inhale helps keep your lungs inflated. When we're running really aggressively, when we're at the end of our marathon, we're interval training, we're tempo workouts, we're doing repeats, our lungs tend to collapse on themselves. Like they're fully inflated at easy runs, and they just tend to collapse because we're just using our muscles so aggressively, they collapse. That double inhale, it helps reinflate them and keep your lungs inflated and have that full surface area for more blood to get through and to grab more oxygen. And I noticed this, do you guys know what Murph is? The workout, the weight vest? I didn't, my first time Murph this year with the full weight vest and like 20 pounds. So it's mile run and you do a bunch of sit-ups, pull-ups, and push-ups, push-ups, squats, and pull-ups.
Under 30 minutes?
No, not under 30 minutes, I was like 48, no, it was 52, 48 or 52. But yeah, 20 pounds is a lot to run in. But the second run, the first and second run, the second run was after 300 air squats, it's rough, like your quads are just blown up. I was like, dude, I'm like, heart was feeling it. I'm like, I just implemented a double inhale. 5 breaths later, I'm like, I have energy back. It was like a flip of a switch after as long as I collapsed, I reinflated them, and it's like, boop, I'm good to go. I don't know if anybody else runs like that, or if you heard someone run like that, but it's something I stumbled upon in high school that I think I found that way of I feel it's so much easier to run this way, and I feel less crappy when I'm running. Like I just feel better, and I've always stuck with it. And it just so happens that ends up the double breath has a great effect on keeping your lungs inflated. Yeah.
So you just do it for a little bit and then you come back to normal?
Nope. Whole time. I just keep doing it. So my whole interval workout, I'll do that for the whole if I'm 3 minutes on or 5 minutes on, Chad, at the tempo, the whole thing, I'm doing that. But yeah, it's. And also, I think I did it today because I had, because of the altitude, I just felt, my chest felt weird. I'm like, I just feel like I'm not getting, I feel like I'm lacking oxygen. I did it today. I don't know if you guys, whoever was running with me heard it, but I was doing it. Did you hear anything?
I did.
Yeah.
So,
Notice how I was breathing hard?
so thoughts on doing like 3 in, 1 out, 2 out.
You can.
4 out. Does that hit the same kind of response that we're trying
Well, do you mean like seconds or steps?
So like, so for me, like sometimes I'll do like.
Oh, when you're running?
Like, so I kind of match my cadence
Yeah.
to my breath intake at times,
Hmm.
depending on how I'm running.
Yeah.
So I'll switch it up, but are you training the same system?
You probably are. Well, it's not really a system you're training. It's more just it keeps your lungs inflated. It's the only reason I'm doing that is the double inhale where there's that little pause. The only reason I'm doing that is I want to keep my lungs inflated. Because I'll notice immediately if I stop doing that, running becomes harder because my lungs are going to collapse. So that might be, like if you do that might have a similar effect. The way I've seen it, and I've seen other runners implement it, this seems to be the most efficient way to do it. Especially for running, where you get into a steady state, you just maintain that. It's just, I get into a rhythm, and I can keep that rhythm for however long I'm running. It's easy for me to do that. It tends to be easier for runners to do that. But when I'm on the bike, I can kind of do it. It's a lot harder on like if I'm doing the rower or I'm on like the bike where you have the hands as well. It's a lot harder to do that on those things. It just works really, really well for running. Any questions? Or what questions do you guys have on that? I wish we could all just go try. We can all try it tomorrow. What are we doing tomorrow for a run?
Going to Fort Tuthill.
Is that an easy run? Or is it a workout?
Easy.
What's the track day?
We're going to do workouts at Lake Mary.
When?
At Lake Mary on Saturday.
Okay, that may be a good day to implement it. We could do it on Saturday. Oh, tomorrow we could do, well, no, we shouldn't run with those. It's going to be too hard. If you want to run with the 4 inhale, 8 exhale.
Let's pick spots and see who can.
Well, I'll hold our breath. We're going to find a tree. We're all going to run to it. And whoever passes out first.
Give us a prize for whoever passes out.
Whoever passes out first. I got my money on him.
Give me a helmet.
All right, that's a lot of the breathing, more just like, hey, this is inhale, exhale, diaphragm stuff. Any questions on any of that stuff so far, guys? Because you've all had pretty good questions. I want to get more mobility of the spine and how that influences your breathing. Everybody stand up. Everybody go like this. Kind of really slouch. Try and take 5 deep breaths in like this. It's on your own time. I know this doesn't really feel very efficient for me. That's just my opinion. When you're done, stand up nice and tall. Same exact thing. Deep breath in, tall. Let's do like 2 more. You guys tell me which one do you think you get more air in? Second one. Right, when I'm here, I get a lot more thoracic expansion. When let's say I have a desk job and I sit all day and my spine is a little bit stiff and I'm on a computer, what ends up happening is when this is stiff in flexion, when you breathe in, your ribs are expanding laterally. They're expanding forwards, backwards, all 360 degrees, but your back also needs to expand, your thoracic spine is moving with that, and if I'm stuck here, it limits that thoracic excursion and thoracic expansion. So when you see somebody running and they're like this, you can do that, but you're really limiting how much oxygen you're actually able to get in and CO2 you're actually able to get out. So having proper positions and posture is a big thing. Let me see. Oh, I already kind of spoiled it. Everybody take, just nice and tall here. Actually, we'll do this one. Have a hand on your abdomen, hand on your chest. Well, we can do it this way. Take a deep breath in. Fully inhale. Fully exhale. And just be conscious of what your hands are doing. Give me 10 of them. At your own pace, nice and slow. I'm just gonna kind of look around and see how people are moving. And just kind of notice how the hands are moving. Are they in sync? Is one moving more?
Lower more.
I don't know who said that, but okay. Okay, got it.
Lower moves first, then
Then the chest.
yeah.
Okay. Anybody else notice anything of one's moving off?
Our belly breathing slower.
A little more belly. Okay. Good thing I didn't see a lot of too much of that. That's going to happen. All right, everybody take a break. So when we're breathing, what I like to see, the diaphragm, when that contracts, abdomen, I want to see abdomen and chest expanding at a similar rate. Well, the abdomen might move a little bit more, but I want to see them start to move at the same time and also come back at the same time. The abdomen might move slightly more, but I want to see one of these guys, kind of all this moving in sync. So try and focus on that with this one, nice and tall. Think when you inhale, also relax the shoulders. Try not to be, if you're at the end of your race and you're doing everything you can, that's acceptable. But easy runs and beginning of it, I don't want a whole lot of this. Give me 10 more. Think about kind of moving equally and then come on back. Breathe out through the mouth, that's fine too. And 10 at your own speed, your own pace. I'm going to walk around and make sure no one's excessively doing one of these things.
So what if you are just like I feel like I'm mostly belly.
Yeah.
Most focus here. Think like put a little more pressure here on the chest. When you're belly breathing, that's expanding. It's good to belly breathe because you're going to get the lower lungs. But when you get the little bit of the chest, you're getting more of those like upper lobes. That's more of the middle lobes of the lung you're going to get. The upper is more like if you're struggling a little bit excessively, but you want to get these to be a little more equal.
Yeah, because I feel like I breathe with my chest a little bit, like you're saying, kind of come like up.
Yeah, try to, it's almost like let me see how I can do it. Yeah, I think instead of the up, give like 10, try 10 more, Chad. Just have that, just put that pressure right on the chest and just kind of breathe right forwards into it. Think forwards, not up, which is tough. A lot of people want to do this. That's better, yeah.
I feel like when I get the chest right, like when I feel it come out, it feels like it's like expanding this way and out.
Yeah.
and a little bit back.
So it's like it's moving 360 degrees. It's not just fully here. Can someone grab me that green band? See that big green monster band?
Can you do like restriction like
Yeah, you can have it in the ribs.
in rib?
So something I do, it looks really funny, but something that I'll do with people is, depending on where they're having that restriction, like for Chad, what I would do is, I actually might give this to you, Chad. Ricardo, come on up here. What we'll do is, I'll put this if it's the more thoracic spine.
Put it on your feet first.
Huh?
Put it on your feet first.
Put my So here, I might not even have to tie it. And you can breathe. This gives you feedback. It's pretty tough too. You're not cued to go up. It's just you're expanding. Again, it's not just forwards, guys. You're getting 360 degrees of expansion. Just like Jay was showing. Here, try it. Typically, I'll put it the lower kind of ribs, but in Chad's case, we can get like essentially right across the pecs. And then I just feed one loop through the other, and I yank it. And you can hold on to it, but mine, I had it so cinched down it didn't even move. Here, I'll show you. Let me help.
Yank.
So hold that with your right hand. And then, there you go. Just try and relax up here. And just take a really, really deep breath in. I think it's not just the front, because you're expanding in the back, you're expanding in the sides, it's 360 degrees.
It is cool to feel the sides actually, like
Yeah.
moving out.
Most people have a lot of issues expanding here. We can actually do that right now, guys. Take your hands, put them on the lower ribs. Like, try not to be way up here. I mean, you can be, but I like to hit the lower ribs because it helps with that. Instead of like this, the belly coming out, it's going to help with like, it's almost like you're expanding into the obliques. Take a really deep breath in. Expand in your hands, and then contract your core, and then And contract the core, help you breathe out. Your core is work to help exhale, especially when you're running fast. Helps to have a strong core. Give me 10 of those. Let's expand into the hands. Nice and easy. Fully inhale and then fully exhale. Yeah, I thought of that exercise. I'm like, people are definitely going to make fun of this with the band, but like it's super effective because you feel
You feel it a lot more.
yeah, you feel it's just having that tactile cue and even the pressure. Part of me is like, I want to make like a soup, like this is maybe 50 pounds, get like a 100-pound band, and you can actually probably strength train your diaphragm, and when you breathe, it'll just feel super easy.
Yeah. No, that's good. It's a good feedback for sure.
You should, we should make a patent like a restrictive device for like around your ribs. That would, I think it would, we got to make it look cooler than this. All right, how'd you guys feel with the lateral expansion? Did you guys like that one? So this is, so I'm always, I think a low-hanging fruit for a lot of runners is just being aware of how you're feeling when you're running. I think it's really easy for us to just, I had a long day at work, I got to hit my miles for my, I'm training for a half or a full, and just you're going it, you might just want to, hey, I just need to relax. I don't want to think about anything. That's fine. But just if we can bring a little mental awareness of how you're breathing and how you're moving. Like when I run, I used to have a lot of back pain. I'm very aware of how am I feeling. I used to do this when I extended my leg back. My pelvis would excessively tip, and I'd get a lot of low back pain because of the shearing force. It was like I didn't have any control over what my hip was doing, so it came from the back and the pelvis. So I'm very aware of how I'm moving, and if I immediately feel if I did something wrong, I want to correct it. So being aware of how we're moving, especially how we're breathing, can go a long way. You don't have to like perseverate and like, how am I breathing and moving? Just a little bit of attention and awareness can go a very long way, which is helping you learn how to do this. Somebody question? Oh, it was you?
Straw breathing. I've heard people do that.
No.
I've heard it's a myth. Or maybe
For what? Helping to do this?
Yeah, strengthening the lungs or strengthening the diaphragm.
Oh yeah, that would be for. I guess it would be for inhales. That would be more for exhales, because like when you breathe, that's like you're restricting the. It's almost like a core exercise. Yeah. So you can do that. I would just do other core exercises, but no, that's a very specific. Because you know what? It's actually going to work your. It's like you have they're intercostals. There's muscles between your ribs. They're very like. It's essentially when you eat ribs. That's the intercostal muscles of a. What's a cow? Yeah, or a pig. Sorry, that's the intercostals of a pig, which they're pretty like rare. Maybe ribs are good, but you have those same exact muscles. One helps you inhale, one helps you exhale. So you could do that. The diaphragm is up. It's a massive muscle. It's a very powerful muscle. I like doing this because we can get more awareness, but we can also probably do this. Like I just feel like we can actually strength train a diaphragm, which I don't know anybody who's talking about strength train a diaphragm. We strength train everything else. But I should put 3 of those on. Did you try it? But even if hey, we're not strength training the diaphragm, you can call them bullshit on that. We're teaching you how to expand your ribs and expand your rib cage in all 360 degrees, and hopefully avoid all of this. What's up?
So I'm totally with you on that because actually I do breathing exercises, and to do that belly breathing forces your diaphragm down, which actually allows you to expand your chest even outward and down.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? And then pulling it back up as you breathe up, and to pull that like Bruce Lee's, right? I'm a big Bruce Lee guy. How you do the pull in and totally contract the diaphragm and suck it up in, and it's like, yeah, you can get that diaphragm stronger, and you really can get it more efficient, and
You guys know what the second heart is of the body? They say there's some. We already told you what it is. The diaphragm is the second. They call it the second heart of the body because as it inhale, we exhale. I mean, that diaphragm is contracting, it's expanding, and then when it compresses, that's a massive pressure change in your body, and it shunts blood back to your heart. So if you can get if you can do more of this, it's actually probably going to help with your running efficiency. If you get a stronger diaphragm and expand your rib cage more, and then have it compressed down. Also helps with when you fully exhale, you create that pressure. So a lot of this stuff is just helping blood move around your body more efficiently.
super important with bracing when you're doing heavy back squats.
Oh yeah, diaphragm. Yeah,
like
attached to your low back, your lumbar spine. Like people don't realize that.
The expansion of your core and the expansion of everything, just
making your natural weightlifting belt. When I see CrossFitters and they're like, my back hurts, I'm like, well, what you're bracing? I like to think, well, this is just more of a lifting thing, but I think fully exhale, engage the core. We're already having pressure. Then inhale on an engaged core. So now my core's engaged, my diaphragm's there. I have a very stable back, and I can go into this deadlift and complete it without my back being bendy and all these other things. And we can use a weightlifting belt, that's fine, but let's create a natural one. I'm a much bigger fan of that. Cool. Any other questions? No, seems to be a really, you guys like this topic.
One more question.
Yeah, what's up?
Riding a bike, you're in this position.
Yes.
Is the breathing change at all, or do you have any experience with like high breathing?
No, because you're just hinged at the hips.
Okay.
Because you can be nice and tall here and I just hip hinge. So biking is you're in an active seated position. So a lot of bikers have hip stiffness because you're essentially like this. So a lot of bikers, we want to make sure we can get hip extension because like if you're a triathlete and then you go from your bike, that's you're an Ironman, is it 100 miles for an Ironman? What is it? 112. Like you do that and for, how long does that take? Like a bunch of hours? Like you're doing that for hours. Essentially you just sat for like hours and you're like, oh, I gotta go run. And two things for mobility we need for runners, it's knee over toe motion and it's hip extension. And if you're like, I'm really stiff here, that is gonna cause issues with your running efficiency and then you have all these different compensations. Yeah.
If you got you're talking about road bike, so the TT position is.
Yeah. Are you more hunched over?
Oh my God.
Oh, no, I see what you're saying. Yeah. So yeah, that can affect your breathing. Yeah, if you're hunched over like that.
Is there another exercise to work on being able to breathe in a hunched over?
You can practice it. I would, because like what you can do too is like if someone's under, like for instance, when people are doing CrossFit, and whether you like CrossFit or not, they're doing high rep deadlifts, they have to breathe somehow. So they're breathing through it, like they're engaging, they're breathing through a really tight core, and they train themselves to do that. That's hard to do. So your diaphragm's actually fighting your abs the whole time. So you can train yourself to, your back it's more in a stiff position. You got to fight it. So you could do this and then try to expand as much as you can. You can train that way. It's just how you're training your body. But yeah, you're in a flex position. It's going to limit it. You need to train to try to get as much out of it as you can. That's a good point. I forgot about that.
So one of the things I want to make sure we do with like topics, man, I think it's super cool, but to like drive it home and allow us that are in this room to be able to practice this and remember to practice it, like over a long period of time, because that's what's going to allow us to get good at anything. And for the coaches here to be able to take this information and disseminate it amongst run-free athletes.
Yeah.
Can you like shoot on the group me or text me or something and I can put it on there? Like a fairly simple protocol of, hey, I would do this for this amount of time, this for this amount of time, this for this amount of time.
Of all the stuff we talked about?
On Tuesday and Thursday every week. If
Okay,
you're
yeah.
doing like,
Yeah.
like almost like a maintenance idea. Like, hey, we're going to get good at this. How could we implement this into a week? Does that make sense?
Yeah. How can you, like, what would a program look like to implement this?
Yeah, and with the understanding that we don't want to spend all day just doing that.
I'll give you guys 2 hours of breathing exercises every day. It's way too much.
But yeah, like something that's actually gonna make a difference. And like I understand if we do it just this one time here, and then we go home and we never do it, then what's the point?
Yeah, it's like it's not worth it.
Like what is the point as well where we're doing enough of it to make a difference, but not where it's like such a monumental task?
Yeah. No, I can do that. But yeah, for each one, we can do that because we have arch control. Oh, we have 2 more coming up. Yeah, I can do that, Jay. That should be good. There's one thing I want to talk about. I forgot what it was. Who here thinks they have a stiff back, like a stiff mid back? Is that everybody? All right, who thinks they have the stiffest back?
How do you test that?
Whoever raised their hand, do this for me. Knees and elbows, hand behind your head, rotate up. I want to see how much thoracic rotation everybody has. If you don't think your back's stiff, you don't have to do it. But like, so it looks like this, guys. Knees, elbows on the ground, one hand goes behind your head, keep it there, and then rotate up. I want to see who is the stiffest, because we're going to get some exercise. And just hold it there for like a few seconds for me to see. Do you feel it in here? Where do you feel it? Oh, in the spot. Okay. I might pick you, but I want to see who is the worst.
So both elbows.
Yep. And then rotate up.
Oh.
That's not too bad. It might feel stiff.
One way is less stiff.
me see what that one looks like.
I feel like my rib can just go.
I don't want to win this contest. I want to be the stiffest.
Ryan, do the other side.
The least mobility.
Where do you feel it, Ryan? Oh, you're in the lats. Okay. We could do lats. I want to do mid back there. All right, everybody come on up. I mean, if we have time, we could do lats. Hand me the peanut to the double lacrosse ball there. And what's your name again?
Jordan.
All right, come over here, Jordan. Oh, you're the young guy, too. How'd you have the stiffest back out of everybody?
Jordan Osborne.
Got a stiff back, man. All right, here's the deal. That test, well, it looks at rotation, but if another thing is if we are a little bit, how old are you?
27.
Okay, what do you do for a living?
Running coach.
Oh, just running coach. If we are stiff here, essentially thoracic extension and that rotation are coupled motions. So if I'm limited in extension, I'm also most likely going to be limited in rotation. So that's one thing I know. If you're here, you're automatically probably going to have a lack of rotation. I'm going to show you what to do with this. I should have brought more. But we're going to take this. It's called a peanut. It's going to go in the middle of our back. This is my favorite way to open the back up. You could use a hard foam roller. We're rolling up and down. Oh, I got a little crack there. That's awesome. Finding spots. Ooh, that spot sucks. Extend over top. I'm trying to get more of this thoracic extension. That again is going to help us go from I'm here, so I'm in this more straight up position. So give that a shot. It's indented like this, and the backbones sits right in the middle of it. So you might get a back crack. It's probably going to, I want it to feel tender because that means we need to improve on some things. They just roll up and down on it, see how it's doing. Because I'm going to time a minute. Who's got a timer? So you put like a minute on the timer. And it's roll up and down. Don't hit your low back, but you can get everything right underneath your neck is all fair game. And just let me know what you're feeling.
Yeah, it's tight.
Try to find the tightest spot. So what we do here is we're just rolling. We're trying to find tender spots. And then once we find one, arms, and you try to extend over the ball and making a nice pain face. This is my favorite way to improve mobility for that middle of the back. The back is, it tends to be, there's the rule of above and below, where the joint above and below, whatever joint you're pointing at, is going to be the opposite of whatever that joint is. So if I look at my hip, it is a pretty darn stable joint. Most people never dislocate their hip. A lot of people dislocate their shoulder. I never really dislocate my hip. It's a pretty darn stable joint. My knee, very, very flexible. I have a lot of, this is like 150 degrees of range of motion here. Ankle, pretty darn stiff joint. Low back, it's actually a little more flexible. My mid back is more stiff, or it's more of a stability joint. It tends to get more stiff on us. So we're fighting a little bit of an uphill battle because all these ribs, if you punch me in the chest, you're going to hit my ribs and not hit my heart and not hit my lungs. So it's a good thing we have that. The downside is we tend to get stiff, so you have to do things like this to improve that. Doing okay?
Yeah.
The timer go off? Do another minute.
Yeah.
Give me an extra minute. You can handle it.
I just have a question while I see on this.
Yeah.
Because I do a lot of work on my back, and sometimes I feel like if I use something like small part like that, it can cause like some like a lot of soreness afterwards. So if I haven't done it for a while, sometimes I'll just do a foam roller to start out.
Yeah, you can.
Is there a reason to start out on a foam roller first if you're just starting?
Yep. So you definitely can, Chad. It's a good point. But think of, there's 50 shades of mobility tools. On the side of softness, you have a pool noodle. We're going to accomplish nothing if you roll on a pool noodle. You're just going to smash it and you're not going to do anything. On this side, we have a kettlebell. We have a sleeve of you asked me about your groin. Yeah, like a kettlebell. Sometimes they just work great to hit the groin. But on this side, we have something that's really hard that you can release the tissue with. I wouldn't do this with the back just because it doesn't work very well. But in the middle, I love using something like a lacrosse ball that you guys all got today. It tends to be small enough. You can hit all these different muscles. But also it's hard enough to where you get a lot of, you can take a break, you get a lot of tissue change versus like if this was a tennis ball or a yoga ball, you probably wouldn't feel the same exact thing. Like this is hard enough to where he's going to get a good tissue response. And what's a good tissue response duration is 2 minutes. So if you do this for like 30 seconds, that's a good warm up. But if we want long-term change, like what we're trying to do here, we're improving the blood supply. Two things, as you put pressure and move it around, There's a neural response where it's their nervous system is actually relaxing. There's muscle spindles, which is just muscle fibers that have nerves wrapped around them. Shoots an inhibitory signal that says, hey, relax, relax, relax. That's one way we improve mobility here. A second way is we're actually improving the tissue quality. Think of the tissues as their muscles. They contract, they relax in parallel. Sometimes they get all jammed up because us as runners, we put our bodies through the ringers. This helps. Think of it like if I punched a hole in this wall and then I hired a really bad contractor to fix it, and he just laid another piece of drywall down. He didn't spackle it or sand it or paint it. It was very obvious there was a hole here. Our body does a good job of that. It heals things quickly, but it doesn't heal them very efficiently. It doesn't heal them back to 100%, where that lacrosse ball is us saying, hey, we hired a really good contractor, and he's going to sand it and paint it, spackle it, and make it look good as close to new as we can. So that's the point of this. Body's a great healing machine, but sometimes it needs a little bit of help because it's a shitty contractor, for lack of a better word. It does a job, but it doesn't do the best job of healing. What's up? Oh, actually, sorry. Before we do that, can you retest your rotation? I want to see if it got better, and then you let me know how it feels. That looks better. You're getting like 45.
Yeah, it's not as tight, like right in the middle.
Yeah, do the left.
The left is a little bit better last time.
Yeah, that's definitely better. I should have had him face this way so you guys can see him. I don't know if anybody else can see it. It's definitely different from when I was looking at the first time. So this is what you're...
Maybe not so great at best.
You went from the worst to the best. Yeah, you gotta get a peanut, man. So big fan of this, especially for runners. We tend to just, a lot of, if you got a tech job, you have a job where I'm fortunate where, I do a lot of sitting, but guys, when I'm at home, I didn't even plan to talk about this, but like I sit on the couch, I sit cross-legged. When I'm sitting cross-legged, there's a natural have you guys ever seen somebody meditate with bad posture? Have you ever seen someone do this? I have never in my life seen somebody do this, but when you say ergonomic desks, guess what? Instead of being here, the keypad's underneath it. Like there's a reason why this position for, I don't know if it's Buddhism or whatever the religion is, they found this position is just very stable. And like I'll sit like this on my laptop, just sit on the couch, put a pillow there, and I work like this. I'll sit in the ground. I'll do this. The coffee table's in front of me. I do all these different things. I just change my positioning every once in a while. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'll stand. I'll do like this. I'll do that. I'll like put my foot up on something. I just constantly move around throughout the day, so I'm not stuck in a position where my tissues are going to get stiff. On a plane ride, there's not much I can do. But afterwards, I did some certain mobility and stretching exercises that I know were going to help me.
Actually, on the plane, it's not, I don't know, this is a helpful trick. It's completely legal to never sit down. Like that's illegal, no matter what they say.
Yeah.
So I sit down the least on every flight.
Yeah, you just stand there?
Or I walk the aisle.
Oh.
Just walk the aisle, talk to people. Yeah, walk the aisle, or I sit in the bathroom, or like by the bathroom, by the stewardess, stand, whatever.
So if I'm on a flight with you, I'll know what you'll be doing. But yeah, I don't want you guys to think that, oh my gosh, I have to never sit again. It's okay to sit. You might get some stiffness, but there's a lot more stuff in the book that's going to show you guys how to like improve that in the short term. But a big thing, we're going to talk about kind of rotation on one of these days, but when you run, when we walk, it's the same exact thing. When I take a step here, my pelvis follows my legs. So if this leg's here, this leg's going in extension, and behind me, my pelvis follows. Right? I'm going to rotate and follow that movement. Same thing with my arms. That's the opposite. So my thoracic spine rotates, it follows this arm behind me. So when I'm walking, this is exaggeration, but I'm rotating as I walk. Same thing happens when you run. And if you have no rotation here, it's going to come from the low back, and then now my back hurts when I run. And now I have like a disc issue. This has to run. You get a lot of power. It's called the spinal engine. We get a heck of a lot of power. We're going to talk about it, I think, Saturday or something. But you get a lot of power here. That's low-hanging fruit. It's not just, hey, I'm going to go do these workouts. Let me make sure I'm actually getting it looks like this. I'm getting the rotation, because as I rotate this way, my core stretches, and then it contracts. And it stretches, and it contracts, and you get a lot of power and force that way. So running is not just this forward motion. There's a lot of rotation involved that can help us move fluidly through space. And also save your spine. A healthy spine is a spine that can move and rotate. And as runners, we have to be able to rotate. Along with any other sport, you're playing baseball, you're golfing, a lot of people forget running, you need a heck of a lot of rotation. It's not just I fall forwards and run. Okay, I think that's most things I want to talk about. I did a couple bonus things. I had a neck release. I guess if you guys want me to do that, we can go over that. Guys want to go over the neck release? All right. There's a bunch of white lacrosse balls down there. Can you grab me those? I don't have enough for everybody.
Maybe like 10 more minutes.
Oh yeah, this will be it. Who here has neck pain? Or has a neck that like, do you think your neck's like in a bad position? Anybody? If you have neck pain, come on up. We're gonna do this together. It's my favorite one. So some of your neck muscles assist in breathing. If we are chronic accessory, do you have your hand up? If we're a chronic accessory, well, first of all, check this out. If I'm here, that's all I got. This is as high up as I can look. And I fix it, bam, I can look up all the way up. So when you are automatically here to look forwards, if I'm looking forwards right now in a hunch position, this is what happens. So when you're hunched down, when you're stuck like this, you're walking through life like this. And no wonder why our necks hurt. So if they get stiff in the back, but also if we end up being more like that forward head, I'm sitting at a computer all day, we get super stiff here. And if we end up, can you guys see these muscles contract? Like when I'm really bringing my shoulders up, this muscle here just yanks the heck out of our neck. Which again, if we're running the last 400 of a 1500, do it, that's fine. But these guys can get overworked a lot, and I'm gonna show you how to release it. I'll do it, I'll pass this one around. You wanna use this one? You can just use one part of it. All right, we're gonna lay on the ground because when you're standing, your neck is contracted. We want it to be as relaxed as possible. But we'll use them and we'll clean them and pass them around. We're gonna take the ball, make sure you guys can see. I'm gonna find essentially the side of my neck here. Caveat, there is an artery here. If you feel like you're gonna pass out, take the ball off so you do not pass out. Place it right on any spot that's tender. I'm just gonna move side to side. You can go on the side, more in the front. I guess not more of the front, more like side front, I guess. I don't mean the actual front because that's just your Adam's apple. All of this is fair game. You're trying to find a tender spot. You can't find one, let me know. I think most of you guys should probably be able to find something that is like, ooh, that's kind of tender. I like to go after, if I can find it like this. This guy right here tends to be pretty stiff on people. So I'll rotate my head and try to like feel it. And I'm like, oop, there it is. It's called your sternocleidomastoid. And then I'll move the ball side to side. If you go over it this way to the front too much, that's where your carotid artery is. So you can go on it for a split second, just don't hold it on there. And just try to find anything that's super stiff on you. You guys find something? Anybody not find something? All right, did you find something? Yeah. So what I love to do now is once it's on there, I'll actually rotate my head. I'll just put pressure on it and then just rotate your head the opposite way. And this is a fantastic active release. Anybody want to use this one? Actual lacrosse ball? Cool. But make sure you're laying down with this one because if you're standing against the wall or standing, your neck is going to be contracted. We want to try to relax it as best we can. We're just strategically contracting it now to get a better response. Can someone time for 30 seconds and then we'll switch sides. What time did we start? Was it 7:15? 7:30. Oh, 7:30. Okay, so we've been going for.
What is this core right here?
Oh, your sternocleidomastoid. Yeah. So it's important muscle. It stabilizes your head, but it's a prime mover of it doesn't attach to the ribs, but it helps elevate the rib cage when you're excessively like doing this upper trap kind of breathing.
So that can get stiff pretty good.
Yeah, it gets stiff. If you accessory breathe and don't use a diaphragm, it's going to get pretty stiff pretty fast. I think you probably got like 15 seconds left, and we'll switch to the other side.
30 was over.
Oh, switch sides already. If you haven't switched yet, let me know if one side's different, and then once you find it, boom, add that neck motion in. Excuse me.
Tightness is more.
Oh, you're more trap. You're more right there. That's I love you. You could use a lacrosse ball. I actually like getting underneath a barbell. Like if it's on the squat rack, I'll get underneath it, and then I can like go into it, and you can hit it really, really efficiently. The other way with this is you got to like get into a door. and then you can add motion. But I love, if you can do you have a squat rack or weights at home? Set it up to where it's just a little bit lower than your shoulder. You get under it, you can kind of go into it, and you can control the pressure by how aggressively, and you can hold it down with the other hand too. All right, take a break, guys. So that is a way to release your neck to help go from a little more forward head to a little more of that more neutral neck position. All right, please don't seal up the cross balls, wherever that bag is. Here, pass that around, everybody put the balls in the bag. All right, any questions on some mobility exercises? So before you do that, big things for mobility, for breathing is thoracic spine. We want to make sure we're not here, that we're in a better position. Also for neck pain, because again, if you're here and you're looking straight ahead, you're technically looking up here. Releasing the front of the neck, that we tend to get a lot of accessory breathing here. We didn't hit the ribs. What I'll do, I'll get a foam roller, I'll just lay on my side like this. I'll put the foam roller here. It's the foam roller is going lengthwise this way, and I will roll on it, and I'm trying to spring my ribs. I'm trying to put a lot of pressure, and I'll find it. And as I breathe, remember that lateral breathing we talked about, where you expand out to the side? You actually want to try to like push your ribs into the foam roller. It can be pretty uncomfortable. So I don't use the hardest foam roller. I use like a medium one, but this is how you can release the ribs, because the ribs should be able to spring. Like if I brought a table here, I should be able to spring each of your ribs and not be like, ooh, this one doesn't move. A lot of articulations there, but we want to make sure the ribs are a massive part of your ability to your rib cage, fully expand your lungs. That's the one I just don't have anybody have a foam roller? Do you guys have one with you? Okay, yeah, if we had one, I could show you, but it's okay. Who wants to, actually, you know what? Who wants to volunteer their water bottle? I can roll on it. If it's full, if it's a hard one. Toss it. I'm not going to break that. Yeah, it's going nowhere. So essentially what it looks like is this. I don't think I've rolled on something this hard. You go just like this. You find spots. You'll get your lats too. I'll pause on it. The ribs go all the way in the front. You hit the front, hit the back. All of that is fair game. The ribs attached to the sternum. They go all the way to the backbones. You do have some floating ribs. I tend not to hit those, especially for something like this. That's just not going to feel good. But all of the ribs that go from your back to your sternum, fair game. I think there's like 9 or 10 of them that do that. Thank you. Okay. Any questions on mobility or anything running or anything breathing, diaphragm activation, double breath related? And I'll stay late too if you guys have any like one-on-one questions you want to ask me. Oh, good? You gonna get a peanut?
Yeah, I'm a bonus.
You just go to Amazon. They're like $5 or whatever. But I would highly recommend. I think everyone would probably benefit from getting a peanut. But it's just a fantastic way because it does two things for mobility. It releases the muscles, but also it will help when you get your back cracked. Like, did your back crack at all? A lot of times if it's stiff, you'll actually get like, ooh, my back will crack just from being on the peanut. So you kind of get two mobility things at once. But cool. Thanks for listening to my rambling about breathing, guys. Appreciate it. Sweet.